Hey, what's up, guys? This is Alex from Mindful Attraction, and today we have Alex from Playing with Fire. Say hello, Alex.
What up? Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, he actually interviewed me last time, and we thought it would be cool if we interview each other, because we have value to provide. We have different points of view, and I believe that having a diverse set of opinions and letting the fans choose is actually the best thing to do, and it's good for the ecosystem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
100%. I'm gonna talk about being a soy boy and shit.
well,
For sure.
we accept the Soul Boy Mafia. Don't worry about that. So tell me, Alex, tell me your background. How you got? Because you do pickup, right? How you got into it?
Yeah, so I got into it because I was sucking with girls in my early days. So growing up, I didn't really have any success with women up until I didn't lose my virginity until I was 19 years old. So I was definitely a late bloomer. So I started watching YouTube videos. It started with me reading the book The Game. That kind of kicked things off. And then after reading The Game, I just started watching YouTube videos. So started went out, started practicing, fucked around with Tinder, and there was a lot of trial and error. I also had like some, luck elements to it. I was living in LA in 2013, which
Mhm.
is where like all the pickup guys were. So I had some cool wings. Yeah, stuff like that basically, and just kind of slowly moved on and evolved from there.
And how was it with the pickup guys in LA?
The really runs the gamut. There were some like weirdos, some cool ones. I mean, I met some of my closest friends to this date from the LA pickup community, circa 2014, 2013.
Yeah, those were the times, right? It's like nostalgic, right?
Yeah, almost in a sense. Me and my buddy, we
Yeah.
were just talking a few other days ago, and he has a girlfriend now and shit, and so he's been out of the game for a while. But we're just talking about how good it was. They're just like running around LA, 2013 when we were both young and fresh.
Yeah, right. It's like when you think back in those moments, you said in the moment you felt like it was very difficult, but when you look back at it, you realize that it was hard, but it was fun because you were doing it with your boys.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. It was like an adventure. That's the best way to explain it. Even though we weren't getting laid, it was still an adventure.
So
We were starting to get laid, but we weren't getting like laid nearly as much as we wanted to.
yeah, it's a process. So who were the first pickup guys you followed, and what did you like? How did you develop your own style?
I followed a lot of early RSD Julian, old school RSD Julian.
It's funny
Followed after,
because sorry, RSD at that time before we thought that mystery was old school, and now RSD is old school. Isn't that crazy?
yeah, right. I know it's crazy. I followed old school RSD Julian. Who else did I follow? I followed after that I evolved. I started following like what the fuck is her name? Swooptheworld.com. And this guy, this Canadian guy, I keep forgetting his name. He's like, but he wrote one of the first Tinder ebooks, and I thought that was great. Like he paved the way for Tinder and online games. So his book came out like 2012, 2013. I got that book 2015. I keep forgetting his name though. Oh, Will Freeman from Revolutionary Lifestyle Design. That guy. So I always give him props.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm just trying to figure out the screen. I almost never use Zoom. I'm trying to figure out how to like make it so that we're side to side
I
instead of
think I
like,
think it'll make us side to side. To be honest with you,
oh yeah,
if anything, if this is how it looks, where you're the big one and I'm the small one, that's good.
you're the big one.
No, I'm the small one. You're the big one. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're good.
Thanks, buddy.
Um, so tell me, bro, like, how was your life growing up? Who were you in high school? Were you the cool kid? Were you the quiet kind kid?
I
Like,
was definitely far from the cool kid. I was the awkward kid. Definitely wasn't getting laid much in high school at all. Yeah, and by at all I mean none. I was like a little bit of the troublemaker, so I was always getting in trouble and sent to the principal's office. I had a good group of friends, but yeah, I was definitely not popular. I mean, a memory that I can tell you that sticks out. I almost hate telling the story because it's so much cringe. I remember one time, my group of friends started getting invited to parties, and then like apparently one day they were all being like kind of sketchy, and because we used to like all like I don't know, we used to all like hit each other up around 6 or 7, get together and do shit, and they were all like not picking up my call. So I went over to my buddy's house, and they were all like, yeah, oh hey man, good to see you. And I'm like, yeah, why were you guys not picking up? They're like, oh, I don't know, man, the phone wasn't working or whatever. And then we get to this party, they're like, oh, we're going to this party, I guess you want to come with us. We're like, yeah. And we get to the party, and I hear one of the girls who organized the party was saying, oh, I thought he wasn't coming. And I was like, oh shit, they're talking about me.
oh,
And yeah, that was like a memory that stood out, definitely.
Oh
Fuck
my.
that
So
bitch.
so what happened with that friend, with those friends? You still.
I mean, I don't really hang out with those guys anymore. This was like early high school. We just kind of drifted apart. But I mean, I stayed friends with them for years after that.
Oh my God. Holy shit, dude. Dude, that must have been so awkward for you and them.
It was super awkward. I got like wicked drunk to like
Wait, did you go to the party
to
though, at least? Did you go to the party?
yeah, I was at the party, but like it's like you're at a party where like the host doesn't want you there, basically. It's like a weird sensation.
Yeah, fuck that bitch. Um,
Yeah.
so what was the catalyst to get you into
Probably
pickup?
fat and married with kids now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I hope she's fat. What was the catalyst that got you into pickup? For guys, it's different. For me, was that I'm only young once. I'd rather do it now. For you, what was the mindset that got you? Because a lot of guys try to get into it, but they get too scared. But what got you to push through the fear?
It was well, it was I never had that much fear, but I would say it was a series of failures that motivated me to get into it. It was just like so many nights out where I was trying to go out and I was unsuccessful, and I would go home and I would be depressed because I felt like no chick was attracted to me, and it kind of made me feel bad about myself. So I had so many nights out like that. Um,
Before game, right?
yeah, before learning about games. So there's so many nights like that. Uh, yeah, that really like fucked me up, I guess, in a way, and gave me motivation. So when I did learn about game, I was like pretty motivated to go out and apply the concepts. So I was okay with failing because I was already failing before that. So it wasn't like I went from not going out to going out. I was already going out before learning about game. It's just I was not succeeding. And then after learning about game, even though I wasn't succeeding, that was cool because I wasn't succeeding earlier anyway. So it's not like I had anything to lose.
I see what you mean. And let me ask you this though: what was the how long did it take you doing game to get your first lady?
Oh man, I mean, like through game, like after learning about game,
Yeah. After doing game, yeah.
probably a few months.
Oh,
Yeah,
how
probably a
long?
few months,
Like
something
four?
like that. I would say.
Damn, bro, that's persistent, dude. That's persistent as fuck. Tell me the story. How was it? Because everybody remembers their first lady in pickup.
Well, it's hard because I'm just trying to remember because it kind of came into waves. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm into game now. It was like I read the book The Game and I was fascinated by it. And then I kind of went back to doing what I used to always do. And then it was like waves of like adapting different paradigms of the game. Like a big one, for example, was when I decided to stop getting drunk for going out. But I was already like in game for over a year before I started that. So it all came in waves. Um, so I'm trying to think like my first one after learning about game. The one that stands out was the girl who I wound up dating for a little bit. Let's call her N. Um, yeah, I remember her. It was me and my buddy were at a bar. It was a Thursday night. I wasn't even going to go out that night. My buddy was visiting from out of town, my senior year of college. So I had just read the book The Game a few months ago. And we approached a two set. And he liked like Asian girls. So he got the Asian one. And I liked the olive skin girl. So
Oh, thank God.
I talked to the girl to N. And she was just like into me. And I was doing just a lot of cocky, funny shit, cracking jokes. And I remember at one point I invite her back to my place, and she's like, "So what are we gonna do at your place?" I'm like, "I don't know, just have like crazy hanging off the chandelier sex," which is a line I got from Tucker Mack's book, and she laughed at that, and then she went back to my place, and yeah, we hooked up. So
It worked?
yeah, that with her it did, but she was like really attracted to me.
Yeah.
I think she was also like pretty horny that night, so it worked
Yeah,
out
right.
well.
Isn't it crazy what the lines that we thought wouldn't work, but it worked? You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoa, this shit actually works.
Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, it wasn't really that much of the line. It was more of just like that was like just like the final thing that pushed the whole thing over the edge. Like she was already down at that point. Like she was already interested. It was
Mm.
like the final test. Like, oh, what are we gonna do at your place? And I just said something that made her laugh, and she's like,
So,
ah.
so you think? Because the truth is, the funny thing is, Alex, I'm Alex too. Good Alex. We're gonna call you Good Alex. Um, the funny thing is that a lot of guys' first lay is luck, and when it comes to pickup, like their first few ones, a lot of times is luck. Now, maybe not for your case, but for me it was. Now, tell me about the hardest lay you've had. Like, not that your dick was hard, but like The hardest one where you had to fucking do all of your skills. Like, which one was it?
The one that stands out was when I was in Prague 2 years ago, when it was me and my buddy who's into like bodybuilding. Well, he's not he's my friend, acquaintance, right? Who's into bodybuilding and shit, but he's kind of shy. So we were going out, and then we see two girls walking, and then I approach them, and they immediately like dismiss me. They're like, haha. They're like, no hablas inglés. So they're like, we don't speak English. I'm like, oh, I speak Spanish. And then they're like, we're not interested. And I'm like, you're not interested in what? Like, I haven't even offered you anything. And then she's like, sorry, we like bigger guys. You're like too skinny. At that point, I was like 140 pounds, so I was pretty skinny. And I was like, oh, perfect. My buddy's jacked. So I took her hand and put it on my friend's abs, and like that made them laugh. And then we kind of broke them down. And then I convinced them to go out to a bar with us, and they were like, okay, we'll go for 2 minutes only. And then we get to this bar. And I remember it was crazy because this is something that if you haven't left America, you probably haven't experienced. But in some European countries, they discriminate hardcore against like Americans and shit, especially when they think they're stealing their women. Yeah, like it happens. So the bartender would not serve me. He served everyone around me. He served the chicks, but he would not serve me. And he kept ignoring me. And I was like, dude, like, can I buy a drink? He's like, be patient, wait your turn. And then I was like you're skipping me, like clearly, and it's clearly, and we're waiting there for like half an hour. He's completely skipping me, and he's doing it on purpose. It becomes obvious. So we're just like losing value in front of the girls because he served them, even though they came in with me, but he won't serve us. So we're like, fuck. So we had to bounce them out. Went to like downstairs club. Had to isolate my girl. I tried going in the bathroom with her. Got kicked out of the women's restroom. Then like I salvaged the situation. Convinced them to go to an after party. The after party, or not after party. I think I said, let's go to another bar. The other bar was actually my place. I completely got lost along the way. Prague is really confusing because the streets really like kind of wind. So I had to like navigate, but while making it seem like I'm not navigating, while keeping them occupied. Finally got them back to my place, and me and the girl who I was into hooked up. So it was like a whole series of like challenges that I had to overcome.
Damn, bro. It's like the pussy gods didn't want you to get laid. It's like,
Yeah,
why do I hear boss music? You're like, why do I hear boss music in the background?
Yeah, it was just difficult as fuck, but
yeah,
it came through.
Hey man, it's something that your style is very persistent, and I admire that because I'm the type of person. I'm like, oh, fuck this bitch. She don't seem interested. And that's where I want to ask you. It's kind of like, how do you consider your style compared to most coaches? Because every coach has a style, right?
I consider mine pretty straightforward. Like I just like to keep it real. I'm pretty straightforward. I don't really bullshit. Yeah, I mean, I try to keep things as straightforward and simple as possible, and only add complexity to the situation when necessary. So when a girl gives some crazy objection, that's when I like get a little creative with it. But I try to keep things as simple as humanly possible.
Okay, I see what you mean. Now, what's your method like? What's like from opening to closing? What's like your pickup theory in a way?
Yeah, I mean, from opening to closing, are we talking about online or cold approach?
Well, we're gonna talk about the online later because I really like your online game. I even use it. I use the line you give. I like your style a lot. You know,
Right.
like and it actually works because it's a good opener. I used to say before, you look chill as a rock. Let's hang out. But I hated using that because then they were like, "What do you mean chill as a rock?" I'm like, "Bitch, you didn't read me say let's hang out. Like you're just gonna ignore that part." It's just so annoying.
Right. Yeah. It's funny how sometimes like you send a message and like the girl ignores everything, but like the one thing that she doesn't want to ignore.
Yeah, it's like female nature being annoying. That's pretty much what that is, right? But in terms of pickup, what's like what would you recommend to a beginner on how to do pickup?
So okay. We're talking like if you're a pro, like we're talking general philosophy, or we're talking like what are we talking about exactly?
Okay, for example, like if you're taking a guy out to do game, right? How do you coach him? Like what's your coaching style? Like what do you
Okay.
Yeah, you know?
Okay, I get it. So here's what I would say if I was, and this is not a situation that would happen because I don't do boot camps, but if it was like a buddy of mine.
Why not? Why not?
I just don't want to.
It's a lot of work.
I don't. It's draining. It's time consuming. I'd rather just like Yeah, I'd just rather not do it. I don't even do really that many coaching calls. I mainly just focus on videos and content, and I have a product and focus on helping guys in my mastermind group. So that's been my focus for a while. That a lot of that has to do with personal preference. I also don't really believe that boot camps, that 3 days is really enough time to really teach someone something. I feel like it requires a lot longer. So I don't really believe in the concept of like a 3 day boot camp in general. Anyway, that's a whole different aside. If I was going out with a guy and I want to help him, he was like a buddy of mine or something or whatever, or let's say I took on a client, how would I go about it? I think the first thing is I would try to help the guy optimize anything that's easy to optimize. So I would have him get a haircut. I would have him get some good clothes. I would have him get some good shoes. So I'd have him optimize anything that's really easy that we can optimize right away. So that's the first thing I would do for that guy. For example, if the guy's on the shorter side, I would get him elevator shoes. If the guy has like, crazy facial hair, I would have him like tying up his beard. So stuff like that. That's probably would be the first move.
It sounds like you're talking to me, bro.
The second thing is I would take the guy probably during the daytime. And I would tell him, okay, let's start off with the easy approaches. So I would have the guy start off with the easy ones, and I would have him just approach girls who are by themselves. And I would have him use a more direct opener. I would have him say, okay, go up to this girl and say, hey, I think you're cute and I want to meet you real quick. Say that. And then just see what happens. And go up to a few girls and say that. And I might even have the guy go even more direct. If the guy's really afraid to do it, I might have him go even more direct and might say, go up to a bunch of random girls and ask them if they want to go on a date with you. And just to help the guy get over his anxiety and see that even if you go direct, nothing bad is going to happen. And then once the guy gets over the fear, I'd have him do more subtle stuff like, go up to a girl, say that she's cute, then you want to talk to her real quick, practice vibing and flirting with her, and then say we should grab drinks sometime, let her agree, and then grab her phone number, right? So do like 2-minute interactions and do 5-minute interactions. So just progressively take him outside his comfort zone and build up on, on the positive experiences, right? So I'll try to get him like some wins and build on that.
Okay, so it's almost like you want to give them some positive references, like you said, positive experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because a lot of them start out with the mindset that this doesn't work, or there's no way she'll talk to me, Okay, and now let me ask you this: how do you transition from the opener? Because every coach has a different way of transition. You go from direct. How do you transition from there?
I mean, it depends on the situation, but I'll just shoot the shit with the girl. So like if I go up to a girl and I say, hey, you seem really cute, I want to meet you real quick, and she just says thanks, I'll just say like where like, oh, where are you from originally? You have a little bit of an accent. Or I'll just like anything I can observe on her and be like, oh, cool tattoo, where'd you get that? Like just something observational and just build on that, like just build some rapport.
Okay, all right, so it's almost like a code read in a way.
Yeah, I hate that word, but yeah, something like that. Or I might say like, what are you up to? Like that's a general question that works pretty well. Like, what are you up to today? Oh, I'm doing this and this and this. I'd be like, oh, cool. And then like just kind of like, I don't know, kind of riff off of that. Like if she says she's going to the movies, I'll be like, oh, people still do that nowadays. Or she's going shopping. She says, oh, I'm going shopping. I'll be like, oh, where, Baby Gap? Like, like there's a lot of things you can just riff off and just like make jokes and shit.
You're funny. Now let me ask you this, Alice. Like, how do you stop them? Because look, I don't do as much pickup anymore. And something that I noticed is that the first thing that goes away when you stop doing pickup is that you suck at stopping them. Like that's like the first skill that goes away. You could talk to them, but stopping them for some reason is especially if you live in New York City, is one of the hardest things, right? So what's your way of consistently stopping the girls so that they talk to you?
Yeah, consistently stop the girl that I'm talking to. I would just go up like literally just like and say, hey, excuse me. And just like a lot of it is body language and tonality. Probably say, hey, and then throw in the excuse me in there if necessary, if she's not getting the fact that I'm talking to her. And usually people will stop when you do that. Hey, excuse me.
Do you get in front of them?
You don't say anything and the person will stop.
Now, do you get in front of them or do you tap them from behind? Like, what is it?
I don't like to tap. I don't like, especially with COVID, like the whole tapping thing can backfire if they're like paranoid about the pandemic. So I probably wouldn't tap. I would probably just like walk. If okay, it depends on the situation, how they're walking. But let's say they're walking ahead of me. So I would speed walk, catch up to them, get like sideways with them, and then look over my shoulder and say something, right? And make sure that they can hear me. If they're coming directly at me, then I would kind of walk in front of them, but not too directly, and then start speaking maybe 6 feet, when they're away from me, something like that.
Okay, okay. I can see that working a lot better, to be honest with you. I used to do the whole tap thing before COVID, and it kind of worked, but it's almost like the more you do pickup, the more you unconsciously develop habits that you don't even notice that works. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
it's, it's almost like you just do the right things without even knowing it. The more you practice, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It becomes second nature. It becomes like driving a car. When you first drive a car, you have to really think about everything you do. But then after you've been driving for a while, you don't really think. When you get in a car, you don't really think, okay, I'm gonna do this and move my hand, and you just do it.
No, 100%. Yeah. And that's why a lot of natural guys are not good at teaching it because they never had to break it down in their minds and teach it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right. Because it comes so second nature to them.
Yeah. Now it's like the best basketball players are the worst coaches. You know, it's kind of like the same way. Um, Now, what's your theory on creating attraction? Like once you open transition, how do you create attraction and interest in a woman?
How do I create attraction? Well, I don't. So I'm a big believer in assuming attraction, not creating attraction. So I just assume that the girl is already attracted to me, and that my job isn't to create attraction. My job is to establish some comfort and get her invested and build sexual tension.
And how do you achieve that?
Good body language, strong eye contact, flirting, teasing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
When you
stuff
say
like that.
body language, you mean like leaning back, grabbing your dick, like what?
Yeah, well, like it again depends on the situation, but like non-threatening, but also like taking up space. So I'm not gonna be like super hardcore, like close to her. But so I'm gonna be like probably laying back, but also I'm squaring up. I'm not like trying to hide. I'm taking up space. I'm relaxed.
Okay, I see what you mean. It's almost like you're giving them space, but you're also not like backing away like a little, like you're scared. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. It's that fine balance between being non-threatening, but also like not being not
It's
seeming like a bitch.
the problem is that like it's kind of like I hear what you mean by assuming attraction, but a lot of guys don't even don't even have that kind of mindset. How do you change somebody who's always been chasing, who's always felt like they're not attractive, to assuming attraction? Because that's a big shift, especially for a beginner.
You got to get them some wins. So if you take that guy and you get them laid 30 days in a row, they're going to start assuming attraction. So you got to get that person has to start winning. It has to get some wins.
So that means they should go to South America, Mexico.
Perhaps, but I feel like yeah, maybe that's a possibility. But
I'm just kidding.
just also like if you get good Tinder profile pictures and you start getting girls from online dating, that confidence will carry over in cold approach and so on, and vice
100%.
versa.
That's very true. I did notice that when I was in Mexico, I felt a lot more confident. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like you just feel confident depending on the country where you're from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
definitely true. Yeah. Well,
And
I felt that when I was in Colombia.
yeah, bro, it's like, goddamn, it's like, why can't we just bring Colombia to the States? You know?
I know, right? Oh, dude, that would be epic. I
Shit.
know. Just have like all the comforts of a first world country. Colombia is becoming like a first world country, but they're still kind of behind in some ways. Uh, but yeah, they're taking off in certain things, like in terms of stem cell medicine and stuff like that. They're like, I would say, almost ahead of us, to be
Oh,
honest. Yeah, in certain things, like America lags in certain things because we have like really dumb regulations that don't really make sense, aren't science based.
yeah.
Like stem cell technology is one of them. So like Latin America, I think especially like Panama and Colombia, because stem cell technology. Anyway, I'm going on a whole fucking tangent. So
Sounds like
it's a topic I'm really passionate about because I literally just had stem cells done yesterday, right?
a
So
word
like I'm like,
on the joint.
yeah, yeah, yeah. On my neck, yeah, because my neck got really fucked up from, well, that's a long story in of itself. So I do stem cell injections like once every 6 months periodically.
Does it work?
It definitely works. It's not like a magical cure that some people think it is, where you do stem cells and you're like, aha, you're cool. Like when you do stem cells, well, okay, there's so many different kinds of stem cells, but the kind that you can do in America, you actually feel worse for a while because you get more stiff because it causes a lot of inflammation. So that's why I'm constantly touching my neck because my neck is stiff as fuck. But over after a week, that's when I'm supposed to reach like a breaking point where I feel the way I felt before the thing, and then in a few weeks you start to feel better than you did before the injection. So it's kind of like one of those things.
Okay, it's a weird. It's like it goes and then goes up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Now, look, how did you develop your own style on Tinder? Because I noticed you on your channel, you focus a lot about hitting up women on Tinder, hitting up women on Instagram. How did you like? What's your style? What's your recommendation to improve people's profile, even for guys that are not attractive? To be honest with you.
Yeah, so that's like a really loaded question, but let's kind of unpack it. So so I guess it would be how did I develop my own style? A lot of trial and error and just seeing what worked and what worked for me. So that's kind of where my style came into. So I tried a lot of different concepts. I kind of found what worked for me, and then I fine tuned it based on what worked for my clients. So that's kind of the developing your own style part. In terms of the what advice would I give to clients? Um, well, you want to get the best possible photos. So, for example, if you're a 7, you want to look like an 8 in your photos. What most guys do is the opposite. If they're a 7, they look like a 5 in their photos. So you can exaggerate your SMD by a point on in your photos. So yeah, that's like the big advice I would give to guys is try to get the best possible photos where you look natural as possible. Photos is like the biggest component of online dating. But yeah, I mean, like I can get into more information on how to get good photos. That's like a topic of itself,
Yeah.
which I've made like countless videos on. So that would be like one thing I would definitely advise is focus on the photos. The other is keep your texting pretty straightforward. So I made a video where I talk about the fundamentals of text game. A lot of guys overcomplicate texting, but it's actually pretty straightforward. To quickly break this down, there's several fundamentals: opening, building investment, which is basically the same thing as getting the girl talking, then screening, then closing, and then confirming. That's really it. That's text game in a nutshell. Guys like to overcomplicate it and think about qualifying and disqualifying and all these fancy pickup terms, but those are just add-ons. You don't have to do them. Like they're not essential. So if you're a beginner, just focus on the fundamentals of texting. And once you get good, then you can start playing around with more advanced concepts.
Okay, so
Like
explain to me.
sexualizing, sexting, qualifying, all that.
Explain to me like the open. How do you? What are your preferred ways to open and what are your preferred ways to screen? Because I personally would like to know about that. To be honest
Yeah, so opener, it just depends on I don't have so like some standard openers that I've used in the past is hey trouble, or you seem like my type, or you seem like the perfect mix of fun and trouble, or so one of those three like has worked pretty well for me. If we're going off standard openers, default openers that you can just copy and paste. The best openers are like unique observations that you can make about her profile, so they're custom tailored. So that's just going to depend like on her profile pictures. I have a whole video on this. It's called Tinder Pickup Lines That Work, where I show guys my thought process for coming up with unique, quote unquote, pickup lines openers based on what the girl looks like. So yeah, so that would be you would just do you just go off like what the girl looks like and what kind of picture she has.
and how do you screen them?
Oh, screening. Okay. So screening, there's different ways you can do it. You can do it directly or indirectly. Directly would be saying something like, so what are you looking for on here? That's a direct way of screening. Indirect would be more just by like throwing in sexual innuendos and jokes in the conversation, right? So if I say a sexual innuendo, that's a form of screening, because if the girl laughs and complies, then she's down with having a somewhat sexual frame. And then I can amplify and throw in a more sexual innuendo. Right. So that's a more progressive, indirect way of screening.
Okay, I see what you mean. So you're kind of like trying to see whether or not she is down by the way she reacts to your statements in a way. Like for example,
Yeah. Yeah.
like if I see a girl on a date and nothing happened, I'll smack her in the ass as a goodbye. And if she gets pissed off, then that means I'm not gonna see her no more. If she liked it, then that means like okay, she's down for the game.
It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
when
yeah,
she
kind of
leaves,
like
I'm like,
that.
yo, have a good day, girl. It's very masculine, but she's like, whoa, what the fuck? And it kind of like it tells you everything, to be quite honest with you. Because if they see you again after you smack her ass, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Now let me ask you this though. what are the percentages?
Dude, this kind of reminds me of this one time I was in Colombia. I was talking to this one chick, and she was like, we had made plans to get coffee, and then she was like, we get flaking on me. And I said, it's cool, but next time I might have to spank you a little. And then her response was like, actually, I can make it. And then she showed up, and it was that line that actually made her go from flaking to showing up. And she was just like super like DTF. And that's so later I found out that that line like just turned her on. She just liked the idea of like me spanking her. So she showed
Mm.
up and she
So,
flaked on her other plans.
so you're very observant about the things that work and doesn't work. So that's what it looks like. You kind of
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And sometimes it's confusing because sometimes something that works on one girl doesn't work on another girl, and so on. So you get like contradictory information. So you just gotta like kind of like at that point,
well,
like just
what's funny, Alex, is that, for example, one of the things that I learned about being funny, because being funny on YouTube is actually something that a lot of people could learn. Anytime you say something funny, what you'll notice is that your fans will actually comment it and say, "Oh my God, that was so funny," and you could actually turn that into an ongoing joke, like I talk a lot about Tyrone, the personal trainer, banging your girl. I talk about like Jake, the quarterback, taking your girlfriend, and like or Bob the Builder being in the friend zone, right? And so I did that because I noticed when I say certain things, people just keep repeating it. So what I'll do, I just keep bringing it up because it's almost like a show that has callback humor. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And so it's almost like the same thing that you're doing. You're observing what works, and you're sort of like you keep repeating it to see whether or not it gets consistent result. And if it gets consistent result, you implement it into your method, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure, man. I have like a running joke on my YouTube show. Like I've kind of been like taking like almost amping it up because I have a dog and he always, whenever I shoot a video, he always jumps on the couch. So for some reason, my dog loves being in all my videos whenever I'm about to shoot a YouTube video. So like I always say, if you don't hit the subscribe button, Rhaegar will hunt you down and will fucking like like because my dog is like the friendliest dog ever. Like he would never bite anyone in a million years, but I almost make it seem the other way. My dog will hunt you down because he kind of looks fierce, but he's just like a just giant baby. So I kind of like that's like a running joke I have. So yeah, I totally
I'm
feel you
gonna.
on that.
I was gonna ask you. I'm actually gonna write down about the dog thing because I'm curious about the dog and how it helps you in your game. But let me ask you this though: from using Tinder, what's a realistic expectation for guys? Because guys, particularly guys who don't know much about this field, they don't know what's a successful ratio on Tinder. You know what they should expect, how many flakes they should expect, how many women who act interested will flake. What's your experience on that?
The majority of girl, are we? So the majority of girls you match with, you won't meet up with. So one time I did an experiment. Uh, I called it. It's funny because a lot of the questions you're asking like are questions that people in my comment section ask, and then like I've done specific videos on that. So I don't mean to like plug myself too much, but just like
No,
if someone wants more
plug it
information on
in.
this, yeah, they can check out the video. But I did a video called "What Expert Tinder Results Are Like and What You Can Expect." So I completely cleaned my profile, started from scratch. In 24 hours, I got something like or 48 hours. I got something like 70 or 80 likes. Pretty good.
What do
Okay.
you use?
Out
Tinder
of
Boost?
those, no, this is without boost.
You
I
use
didn't want to
free
like skew
swipe,
the
right?
data. Well, I have Tinder Gold, so it shows me all the girls who like me.
Damn, bro, you get more likes than I do. God damn, bro. And I teach women.
Yeah, well, but anyway, so back to the 80 likes. Out of those, 1 out of 3 were matches, which means 1 out of 3 I found like attractive enough to meet my criteria. So 30 matches. Out of those, I met up with and slept with one. So one meetup out of 30 matches. So that gives you an idea, and that's with my text game. So the point of the video is you're not going to meet up with the majority of girls you match with. You're just not. Like half of them won't even respond to the opener, and that has nothing to do with you. That's the realities of the of online dating. But that's okay if you're running high volume, though. If you're getting hundreds of matches a day, why does it matter that you can only bang 1 out of 30? Right? Because if you're getting 100, that's 3 girls a day. So you see what I mean? So like, yeah, the majority of your leads, they will not pan out.
That's like 3.2%, my dude. That's 3.3%. That's pretty good. That's a really good statistic, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's statistical variance. Like, what if that I did not match with that one girl, then it would have been 0 out of 30. You know what I mean? So there's like some variance, or like it can be 2 out of 30. You know what I mean? But the point is that the majority will not lead to, like, it's going to be less than 10%.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and you definitely have those anomalies, those fucking models and shit that just destroy Tinder, you know?
Right.
Yeah, goddamn lucky fucks. Right. Now let me ask you this, because you also do Instagram. Okay. Is that the only social media platform that you use for pickup, or do you use other ones?
I don't really fuck with Instagram pickup. I don't really use Instagram for pickup that much personally, just because it's like it's a fucking it's not that efficient, and I'm just like too busy for it. Um, I barely like even have time for online dating, to be honest. But I have used it. I just don't prefer it.
Mm. And it's a pretty low ratio of like success to, from the.
It's way lower than even online dating. That's the problem. You have to send out so many DMs and shit.
Yeah, no, that's true. I've experienced that. I have my assistant send the DMs for me.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, right. Like I don't even have my assistant use my Tinder because I'm like, yo, I'm not dealing with these fucking irrational bitches, okay? Giving me the whole let's meet up after the quarantine. Get the fuck out of here. You don't know how long the quarantine is gonna be.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus Christ. That had to be the most frustrating thing of COVID was the lies that women were giving you when they were saying no to you. They can't just say no to you, Alex. Why is that? Why
Yeah.
can't women just say no? Why do it have to like you know what I'm saying? Why can't they just say no? I don't understand that.
Because people like to take the path of least resistance, and coming up with a socially accepted excuse, because at the time and now quarantine is a socially accepted excuse, is a lot easier than saying no. That's what the same reason why girls will tell you they have a boyfriend when they don't have a boyfriend, because it's a path of least resistance. Because if they tell you have a boyfriend, you're not going to like start an argument with them. And if they just tell you no, sorry, I don't want to meet you, you might start an argument with them. Versus if they tell you, oh, we can meet after the quarantine, you're likely just to be like, okay.
Okay, that's very interesting. Now, let me tell you something, Alex. I don't know if you ever tried this, but have you ever tried being a woman on Tinder? Not being a woman, but putting your name, your photo, but changing your gender to a woman, because then you're able to get the bisexual.
Yeah. No, I did that experiment when I was doing research for the product for sure.
And how? And, you were doing research, like you were doing a lot of research or something.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to put my name on something, it's got to be like legit. I got to be very confident in it. So yeah, there's a lot of research that went into the product for sure.
What were some of your findings that you found like that you didn't expect?
The vast majority of guys have horrible, atrocious text game. Like the vast majority. Yeah, that was a big one.
And what's like the most common mistake guys make on texting?
They use corny pickup lines. They're over needy. They're like triple, quadruple texting the girl. They're chasing way too hard. They're trying to prove or qualify themselves, so they're talking about how much money they make and all that. They're going for the meetup way too fast. Like the first message, they're like, "Oh, we should, I'll take you out. Like, let me take you out." They're beating around the bush and they're never going for the meetup. They're just bantering to no end. So there's so many, bro. I mean, like I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah. I would think the biggest one is like responding really quick and showing too much excitement. You know what I'm saying? It's like women are like fucking allergic to being open to them. It's like the fuck, like because it's so different in South America and in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you something. You've been to Europe, right?
Yeah.
You've been to Italy before?
No, never Italy.
No. Okay. What's some of the easiest countries you recommend guys go to for high quality women, and almost any guy could go to and get some more results than in America?
In Europe or in general?
Well, in Europe and then in South America.
In Europe, probably Poland.
Poland.
Yeah. Poland for sure. In South America, I haven't traveled to Brazil, for example, so I can't comment on that for great things. I've only ever really been to Colombia, but Colombia is great. But I've never been to Brazil. But I hear good things. So yeah, I don't think I'm like qualified to make that determination on South America. But I think any of those countries, you'll be good. I think you'll be good in Chile. I think you'll be good in Colombia. I think you'll be good in Brazil. Any of those northern South American countries.
And Mexico too. Mexico is
Yeah, Mexico for sure. Well, it depends on where you are, but most cities in Mexico, yeah.
yeah. If you're plus you got some beautiful blue eyes. They love that. The little gringo.
Hola, chica, tengo azul ojos.
Oh, okay. Habla español. They like it when white people you speak Spanish.
Oh yeah, they do. They get a kick out of that. They're like, he speaks, he's so cute. He's trying to speak Spanish.
Right. And quick question, right? What's the why do you think women in South American countries and maybe in Europe are more sexual than women in America? I used to think it was because of religion, because we're a Catholic country and we were Catholic and Protestant country in the past, and that kind of like stayed those like conservative values. Why do you think other countries are more sexually open?
Why do I think Europe is more sexually open?
I mean, it's easier to have to get laid in Europe and in South America than in America. I mean, do you think that's the case?
No, I definitely think it's easier, but I don't know if they're more sexually open.
When I mean sexually open, I mean they're down to fuck more, you know?
So, okay, so here's how I kind of look at it. I think that I wouldn't say that Eastern European or South American women are down to fuck more. I would say more has to do with your level of competition. So in South America and Eastern Europe, you have like close to no competition. So like it's called sexual arbitrage. So let's say you're a 7, you go to South America, you become a 9. But let's say you, Alex, you became super famous overnight, right? And you're like on all the news channels and you become an accomplished author or something like that. And you're like famous. So your SMB goes up to a 9, right? Or let's say you magically grow 4 inches or whatever, you become super ripped overnight. You will still experience the same effects in America, I think. So I think it has more to do with your sexual arbitrage rather than the girls themselves being DTF. Because if you're like famous in America, if you're a rock star or you're like an actor, you're going to find American girls are really DTF as well. Like, do you think, like Leonardo DiCaprio, I bet like if he's like, he's probably like, he's never struggling to find DTF girls in LA. You know what I mean? So I just think it has more to do with sexual arbitrage rather than the woman being more sexually open.
Yeah, but it's kind of like when I see in Europe, I see a lot of good-looking guys in Europe, right? They're good-looking. They're tall. They're kind of well off. So it's kind of like, why is it that when I go there, all of a sudden the pussy floodgates open up? It's like.
Well, one of it is you have American status, which gives you uniqueness right off the bat. Another thing is you have like this phenomenon of like, take like a third world country, all the guys in there who are like successful, really successful, and we're not talking just about looks, we're talking about business and whatnot, they're going to try to move to a first world country versus women. They're going to be more likely to stay where they were born because women are more likely to stay, near their family and what they know. So in country like where I was born, Belarus, my home country, right? Like take a look at that place. Like that is considered one of the best places to get laid. Why is that? Because it's a shithole and all the successful men leave. Like for example, my dad, Belarus.
Sorry.
Like for example, my dad, right? He was a pretty successful businessman and he had some money. And so when, we left, right? We immigrated to America because that's what successful people did versus women, like don't do that. Like, on average, some do, but like a lot of women would be more likely to stay. So in my home country, Belarus, you have a lot of like the guys who are left behind are mainly alcoholics, people who can't get jobs, like lower value guys on average. But then you have all these hot chicks who want to find a moderate value guy. And then when you have an American who comes over, who's not an alcoholic, who has that American citizenship, who has a sexual market value on point, who takes care of his appearance, who has some level of game, you're like a rock star, basically.
Okay, I see what you mean. So how do you talked about grooming yourself, right? I gotta take that advice, right? Dressing up and having more of a like a fine look to you. What other things that you could do as a man to increase your sexual market value?
I mean, it comes down to a lot of it is, muscle, like going to the gym, putting on some muscle, getting to single digits body fat, dressing well, grooming. Those are the big ones.
How about outside of the looks?
I mean, you can work on your status and stuff. That one takes more time though. Like for example, I'm kind of slowly doing that with my YouTube channel. Like I want to build a podcast studio. Like let's say my YouTube channel hits 1 million subscribers. Suddenly I'll have like some chick sliding in my DMs right? Like, for example, like girls who want to be influencers are like, oh, this guy has 1 million subscribers. If I get featured on his channel, that will be so. Like, you could do it like that. That path takes a lot of time, though.
It's happened for me a few times. The girls just like,
It's what?
yeah, oh yeah. I teach women, right? So sometimes they just slide in on the DMs, because they watch. I'm on TikTok too, so I teach women on TikTok. So the TikToks are like the 18-year-olds and 24-year-olds around that age, right?
Right.
So you just like, teaching women is never a bad option, okay? But you got to know what you're talking about, because if you're doing it for pussy, you're not gonna teach good things. You gotta have good things in mind. And pussy has to be second.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But that they probably took you a while to get to that point where you have that established base and where you were like kind of an authority. So that's not like something a guy can accomplish in a week or two. That takes, like years or months at least.
Yeah, but the problem is that a lot of guys just don't have that motivation to do that. And it's kind of like I tell my friends, I'll have a lot of charismatic friends, Alex, and they're very charismatic. And I tell them, yo, get on a podcast, start a YouTube channel. I'll help you out. They just don't do it. Like, if you have somebody who has thousands of followers telling you that you could do it, why wouldn't you do it? So it's kind of like, from your experience, how do you motivate some of these guys to actually want to be successful? Because it seems like I'm literally teaching them the path to become famous, and they don't do it, and they got the charisma. So
you can only do so much. The motivation has to come from within, because if it's external, it's only going to be temporary. So you can only do so much. The person has to kind of want it themselves.
Yeah, unfortunately, you could take a horse to drink, but motherfucker got to drink water himself.
Yeah, you can give them motivation and shit, but yeah, at the end of the day, there's some people who want it, some people who don't, and there's people in the middle. You know what I mean?
And that's why I bet you've had this from your experience, Alex. A lot of the guys that you did pick up are pretty successful right now, because they're guys, they actually went for it. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you think, I don't know, maybe not, but from my experience, a lot of my friends who did pick up, when I look at their lives right now, they're successful. They're either nurses, they're doctors, they're lawyers. It's not that they're YouTubers, but they moved up in life. And that, to me, guys who do pickup succeed in life in general. Now, what do you think? If you agree with that, why do you think that is? Why do you think guys who do pickup generally do better in life? And that's my opinion. You may not agree with it.
No, I mean, I kind of do on average. I think because pickup forces you to go outside your comfort zone and do something that's uncomfortable. And that's basically anything in life. Like business, you have to go outside your comfort zone and do things that you don't want to do. Also, pickup requires a lot of discipline. Like, you're walking down the street, you see a hot girl. Your natural instinct is just to like walk past her. So you need the discipline to approach her. And then let's say you get rejected. You need even more discipline to approach the next girl. So pickup teaches you discipline, and you need discipline to be successful in business. Like, as a YouTuber, you can relate to this. Like, you put out a video and you're excited about it, and then it bombs, right? It doesn't do well. It's really easy to lose motivation, but you have to go out and make the next video the next day. Because if I had just stopped making every time a video bombed, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel, right? I have to I could just give you an example. This Sunday, I was working on this one video. I thought it was going to be a really good video. We did a social experiment where me and my roommate, who's Indian, we went out and we approached girls, and it took us days to shoot this video. And we just straight up asked them if they want to go on a date with us. And we videotaped all of it. And we wanted to see if race plays a role. And we thought it was going to be a really popular video. We thought it took us days to shoot, days to edit, like way more work than most of my videos. And that video completely bombed, And I was like disappointed, I'm going to be honest, because I was really excited. But the next day I still had to, shoot another video, right? So that's discipline, and you need discipline for business and shit. So I think that if you master discipline from game, then it carries over to other areas of your life.
Yeah, because there's nothing more emotionally traumatic than doing pickup. I don't think there's any activity that attacks your ego more directly than pickup, bro. Because
it definitely does, for sure.
Bro, you're being rejected by losers, women who live on the floor, and you could be the most successful person, and you'll walk out of that interaction feeling like complete shit.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
Initially, eventually you get to a point where you can kind of like not let it affect you. But yeah, initially, yeah, for sure.
I'm at that point right now initially because I just don't do pickup as much,
Oh,
and it's like it's like a jab. It fucking hurts, dude. Like,
I know.
and I'm a dating coach, and I used to do this consistently, but now I just do more like just like social circle and like getting good at things, and that's how I get laid. But I remember when I used to go out and women would reject me, it used to just go off of me like nothing, and that's the hardest part. And I think you would agree is the consistency. With pickup, you have to be consistent, you know. So it's kind of like, what's your advice for guys who are not consistent? Like, do you do like challenges? Like, what's your tip for that?
Yeah, challenges can be good. You also have to kind of like remind them. It just we were all motivated by different things. Like for example, I can tell you me. I know what motivates me, and I'm motivated by negative motivation. So what that means is that if you want to motivate me to be more successful on YouTube, show me YouTube channels of other guys who are doing better than me, and have them even talk shit about me. That will motivate me, right? Like I get motivated by like adversity. If you want to motivate me to do game, have some chicks reject me. Have someone who I know fuck a hotter girl than me. Like that will motivate me more, right? But for some people, that kind of motivation doesn't work. It has the opposite effect. So I think we're all wired differently. We all have different motivations. So a lot of it comes down to just how the person is wired and what motivates them. Like I'm not really motivated as much by positive motivation. I am to some extent, but I'm more motivated by like negative motivation, if that makes sense.
Is that like a concept in the book or something? That's pretty good.
I don't know if I read that somewhere or someone told me that. I don't know. I've been saying that for years, but yeah, I don't know. I probably did get that somewhere.
I think, in my opinion, I think the negative motivation is the healthy one, because negativity will always come at you. You know, like I play basketball, and I could have gotten into a few fights this summer because New York City is full of cycles, and I stopped myself. One, because I'm a pussy. I'm not a fighter. Okay, so like I'm strong, right? But also, I say to myself, yo, fuck this nigga, okay? I'm gonna get good so that the next time he sees me, he's gonna regret talking shit, you know? So now when I practice, I remember that ugly ass motherfucker, right?
Yeah, so you're kind of wired like me. You're motivated by negative motivation. I don't know if it's good. I would actually say that's probably not that healthy overall, but it is what it is.
You're fuck mom, fuck
Yeah,
mom, fuck dad.
it is what it is. But it kind of like I get motivated by people talking shit about me and stuff like that. Like I got really motivated when Vice did a smear article on me, and I got my Facebook group banned. That motivated the fuck out of me because I was like, "Fuck these Vice motherfuckers! Mainstream media sucks. Like I'm gonna work extra hard to build a forums community and shit like that."
Wait, explain that. Explain that. Tell me this whole debacle, because I met that guy Brad. No, I'm not met that guy. I met a girl whose friend dated him, and she told me about the problem. You know, Bradicus, how he got banned from.
Bradicus, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you said Brad, so there's actually two different fiascos. There's the Bradicus fiasco and there's the Brad Holiday fiasco, which are two totally different fiascos. And I know Brad Holiday comes out of New York City, but yeah, so
he's the Robert Greene's apprentice, right? Kind of like that. Ryan Holiday. I'm thinking Ryan Holiday.
Which one? Brad?
No, I'm thinking of Ryan Holiday, the author of.
No, yeah. Brad, totally different guy.
Yeah, I totally forgot. So how did it happen with the whole debacle? What was it?
With Vice, okay. So the Vice thing was this was a while ago. This was like 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. But basically, I get an email from a journalist working at Vice saying they want to do an article on playing with fire and if I would get around them in an interview. But something felt off about the interview. Like, for example, the journalist didn't include any credentials about herself and used a burner email, which to me is weird because if you're a main journalist at Vice, like you would send out an email from your official thing, right? So there were some things that seemed a little sketchy to me. So I asked for more clarification. I was very polite, very cordial. That's kind of like my style in general. I'm generally like a pretty respectful, cordial person. And she just like came like, look, we're going to write this article, whether you help us or not, like very aggressive at me. So I was like, okay, I'll help you with the article, but I don't want to do a video because I knew like if I did a video call, she was going to try to like trap me. And this was like 3 years ago before I had my YouTube channel. So I don't have that much experience dealing with like now it'd be really hard for journalists to trap me because I just gotten a lot more practice speaking on camera. But back then I didn't have enough confidence in my own skill not to be like outmaneuvered by a journalist, right? So I was like, okay, I'll do an interview over email. You can ask me questions, I'll answer them. So she asked me a bunch of questions. I answered them. I did thought responses. They used like nothing of what I said at all. The whole interview, the whole article was how like there's this Facebook group where guys are doing like revenge porn type of stuff where they're sharing pictures of girls they fuck. That was like the takeaway that basically like I'm the same as like the revenge porn type of people, which not
and
at all. And then immediately Facebook took down my Playing with Fire group, which had 10,000 people.
And damn, bro, and damn, bro, that must have been devastating when that happened. You must have been pissed off.
I was definitely pissed off, dude. I was really pissed off. I mean, it was like, everything I worked on. I didn't have the YouTube going at the time. I didn't have Instagram. I didn't have TikTok. All I had was Facebook.
Well,
my YouTube. Okay, to be fair, I did have YouTube, but my YouTube had 200 subscribers. Yeah. So my YouTube was nothing at that time. I didn't have a forums community. All I had was a website and Facebook, and that's it. And Facebook is down.
These people are so hypocritical and disingenuous. It's like the ones that act like the most angel ones are the most deceiving, like the evilest ones. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, it's funny you say that because I was telling my roommate that the other day. I don't trust anyone who pretends. I don't trust anyone who's like very new agey, who pretends like like they're like very like holy and shit. Like I think that Denzel Washington has this great line in the movie Training Day. He's like, you got to have a little dirt on you for anyone to trust you in this game. And I kind of agree with that. Like if someone comes off like they're just too pure, I think that person is into like some pedophile shit and is like the most fucked up person. So if someone comes off, who?
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know much about his personal life.
Yeah,
my perspective is that Bill Gates is just like a massive nerd who just like sits around and just fucking like plays like Dungeons and Dragons and shit.
I'm suspicious of anybody who puts a lot of effort into looking like the greatest humanitarian. I'm very suspicious of that. I'd rather trust The Rock, or not even The Rock. Like I'd rather trust somebody who is known as the villain more than somebody who's known as the good guy. Because at least I know the devil that I know. You know what I'm saying? An example of that. I'm seeing an example. Like this happened the other day. I was coming from a date, and then we got on the train, and then I was going back home. She was on her way home, but we took the same train ride. It was a little awkward, but whatever. And then we sat next to a girl, and she was so polite. She was like, "Hey, ma'am, do you want to sit here?" She was like, "No." And then she started talking to me, but she was very polite. She was like, "Here's a flower," and I was like, "Thank you." And then as she saw an older lady come in and then she was like, "Hey, lady, do you guys?" She was very polite. Anyways, long story short, I got her number. She started sending me news very quickly, and I'm like, this is a red flag. And then she invited me to her place. She was like, "I'll give you a blowjob if you let me do it on camera on OnlyFans. You can."
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
And I was like, all right, as long as I have my face and my beard and everything, I'll do it. She was like, all right, cool. She's like, "I love sucking dick." And when a girl says I love sucking dick, bro, that's like fucking the guy saying,
hallelujah.
bro, when a girl says I love sucking dick, it's music to every guy's ear, right?
Yeah.
So I went there, my dick was ready and everything. And it was like a Jewish neighborhood in Brooklyn, right? And she was like, she screamed at me. She was like, "Come in." I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Where's this polite lady at?" And I was like, "Shh." I was like, "Don't fucking tell me to shh." Holy shit. I was like, "I'm gonna get my blowjob and get the fuck out of here." As I'm coming in here, I walk inside. Her mom is doing crack on the fucking on the sofa. A black dude is leaving the apartment. Okay, first of all, I was like, "What the fuck just happened?" This guy kind of looks like me too. It's not like it's a white dude.
He just gives you like a fist bump on his way out. He's like, "Yo, man,
what?" I was like,
"You here for the blowjob too?"
I don't know, bro.
He's like, "Yo, man, you're the 3 p.m. I heard so much about."
Bro, I was a 10 p.m.er. I was a 10 p.m. Anyways.
Oh, shit, man, you're the 10 p.m.
Bro, it was so crazy. I walk into that apartment, and she takes me back to the room, and I was like, "Does your mom know?" She's like, "Yeah, she knows I do the camera. She knows I bring guys in." And my dick starts saying, "Bro, let's go." Okay. Like when my dick says, "Let's go," that's a big red flag, right?
Dude, that's so crazy because like I'm just thinking my relationship with my mom, like my mom knows what I do, but I would never in a million years invite a random girl over while my mom is staying with me, right? Like just like out of like respect and like, like yeah, my mom knows that I hook up with a lot of girls, but like I would never like rub it in her face. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So to me, that's crazy. And that's different because I'm a guy, right? Because like if you're a girl, like I just can't imagine what kind of relationship you need to have with your mom where you're like sucking dick in front of her. Like that.
bro, it was so awkward seeing her and knowing that she knows she's about to suck my dick on camera. I mean, I didn't know what to think about that.
How do you properly give a blowjob when your mom is doing crack in the room next door?
I don't know, man. Lube it up. I don't fucking know, dude. I really don't know, especially with the cracked lips. It's no saliva. I don't know how that was gonna work out. But bro, I texted my friends. I was like, yo, bro, text me and let me know you need help. I'll put you on speaker so I can get the fuck out of here. Nobody responded. I was like, holy shit, how am I gonna escape? Because she started stripping. And then she started getting on camera. And I'm like, she started stripping. I'm just here. And she was like, are you ready? And I was like,
Was she hot?
huh?
Was she hot?
I was there for the blowjob. I didn't expect it to fucking take your clothes off.
Uh,
Bro, it was a waste of time. But the point is that anybody who looks super polite and super happy in person, bro, I'll be very suspicious of them because they can be the biggest bitches on the planet in
yeah,
general.
that's an interesting story. So the blowjob wasn't good?
I didn't get the blowjob. I left.
Oh,
Like,
you did?
bro,
Was it awkward?
bro, it was too many things, bro. The dude coming out after I came in there, now I'm getting sloppy second head. The mom being in the background, the camera too. Which I was.
Dude, it reminds me of the scene. Do you ever see the movie Beer Fest?
No.
Oh, dude, there's a scene in this movie where like they're taking him to this secret German beer drinking competition, and there's like this hallway there. It's like really creepy. There's like a guy on a unicycle, and then there's like a tranny with a strap on chasing them. Hello, my friend. Dude, like what you're describing sounds exactly like the scene in that movie. Watch the movie Beer Fest, like
Beer
that
fest.
scene where they're going to the drinking competition.
Yeah, nah, I just never seen anything like that. It was just so awkward. And that's the thing when you do game is that you meet a lot of weird women. A lot of weird shit happens when you do a lot of gaming.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But what was your weirdest experience with a woman? Like the creep.
Oh, dude, I mean, I have so many. I've had so many weird, sketchy experiences. Like, I don't even know where to begin. I mean,
Have you gotten mugged? Have you gotten like set up before?
yeah, dude, I got
mugged.
knocked out once.
Oh
Dude,
shit.
as a result of me doing games, some guy did 4 years in jail. I know it was like a whole saga.
Wait, tell that story.
I'll tell that story. I've told the story a few times, but yeah, it's a funny one. Well, it's actually kind of sad, but also funny in hindsight. So this is what happened. So back in the day, I used to do a lot of Craigslist game. And for anyone who's not familiar with Craigslist, I've talked about this. It was like the holy grail of pickup of online game because you could bank some real hotties from Craigslist, believe it or not. I'm not talking about paying for it. I'm talking about like, in the casual encounter section. So one time I put an ad up.
It really worked? Wait, it really worked?
It legit worked, dude. I banked some of the hottest girls in my life off Craigslist. Yeah, that reaction is pretty common. Yeah, it happens. It happens. It happens all the time. Craigslist, bro. Not anymore though. They took down the personal section.
But why were they there? I don't understand why these girls were there.
So yeah, I can explain it because I've actually I've deep dived into this. So there were two types of girls that were like really hot that you could find on Craigslist that you could not find on other dating apps. The first one were the married kind. So these were the chicks who were married, like really hot married women who didn't want to have a Tinder because they thought like their husband would find it. And Craigslist offered them the most privacy because you don't have to give your real name. You don't have to do anything. So they did it for privacy reasons. And there was a lot of really hot married women who want to cheat on their husbands. A lot. Like, especially living in like LA and Miami. That's the first category. The second category are the chicks who just think that Craigslist is easier. So they're like, oh, Tinder's too confusing. On Craigslist, I can just respond to a guy's ad. I don't have to make an account. So there may be career women who are just really busy, right? So those were the two categories, were the married chicks who did it for privacy reasons and the busy women who did it for ease of use, who just didn't have time to make a profile. Yeah, that's what I kind of noticed about Craigslist. But you don't really have that much competition on there because very few guys are doing it.
Yeah, I wasn't doing it because I thought it was only crackhead girls like the girl that I met the other day.
Exactly. That perception is worked in my favor for years.
So tell me, it's just crazy thinking about it.
Yo, let me take a piss real quick, and then I'll tell the full story because this is a long story. I got pissed.
Yeah. When I would look into Craigslist, I just would think it's only loser, ugly, fat girls that were on it, not like banging ass chicks, right? You would, the people watching, you would never expect that. You know, you would think they were just big old fat girls, like the normal fish, catfishes, in the early 2000s. Because what people don't understand about dating back then, I sound old, but back then, most of the women that were on online dating were ugly. And the reason why it was because it was a socially taboo thing for anybody to be on online dating. So most of the people, and also most of the people had friends, right? And so most of the people would meet their significant others through their friends. Nowadays, people don't have as many social circles. They don't meet people the normal way. So now it's more socially acceptable to be on online dating. But back then, only the desperate women were online, pretty much.
All right.
All right, you're back.
All right, story time. So you mentioned that, but I would think there was only crackheads on Craigslist. So there were some of those, and this is how the story begins. So I made an ad. A chick responds. You know,
how old were you at that time?
I would have been 24, 25 when this happened.
What year was it? It was like 2010 or something like that?
No. 2010, I was still in Boston University. I was at like Lake Count 5 at 2010. That would have been like 2015.
Wait, so that was, I could have used it too. What the fuck?
Yeah, man. It only got taken down like 3 years ago. So it was good up until like 2018, 2019.
Bro, I am so shocked. But weren't there prostitutes in there? How did you not?
Sure, there was, but they were really easy to screen out because they would be very upfront about the fact that they want money most of the time.
Before we get into the story, what was like the ratio, the success ratio on it?
It really depends. So, okay, now we're getting into like Craigslist, optimal strategy. But what I found the best strategy is to make ads. So don't respond to ads yourself, but actually make the ads, make them very well written and sexual. So again, if you go through like most of the ads that guys make, they're poorly written. It's like, I'm so horny, one pussy, who wants to fuck, right? That's the ad. You know, that's your competition. Or like, yo, I got a big dick, it's a dick pic, right? I would make very well-written ads that were very 50 Shades of Grey style, and chicks generally respond to those. What was the success ratio? Like mostly it was gay guys that would respond to your ad, trying to convince you to, suck your dick. You're like,
yeah, that happened to me.
Daddy, I'm as good as a girl, right? But for every 5 gay guys, there was like 1 or 2, hot chicks, right? Or 1 or 2 chicks. And for every 3 girls, there was like 1 of them was hot or something like that. So you might post an ad, you get 10 responses.
Did you post your photo?
What?
Did you post your photo?
I've played around with posting my photo. I've played around with just posting an ad. What I found worked the best was posting an ab photo. So just like abs, a body photo.
Bro, you love your ab photos.
Yeah, which at the time wasn't even mine because I didn't even have abs. It was just like a white guy. I found on Google Images. So I was like low-key catfishing these girls. So it was like a whole different like hustle.
Bro, yo, you are savvy, bro. I would never think to get a stock ab photo, bro. Yeah, that is hilarious, yo. You're something else, man. You're something else. Okay. So keep going. My fault.
No, it's all good, bro. So I was posting these. So anyway, yeah, I found. There's a whole bunch of things I found. Actually, if you're really interested, I have a chapter in my product on Craigslist Game. I can send you over that chapter if you're curious about like the specifics. This was over 3 years ago, so I'm forgetting some of the details. But yeah, generally it was like a 50 Shades of Grey style ad with an ab photo. You might get 10 responses. 6 of them are gay guys. 4 of them are girls. 1 or 2 of the girls is hot. But it just took you 2 minutes to post an ad, so it's not really that big of a deal. And then you meet up with a hot girl, and then maybe 50% of the hot girls flake, so you got to post 2 ads, so you get like 2 or 3 hot girls that you're talking to. So there's like a whole strategy to it. But anyway, so back to what happened. So that night, I was talking to this girl. She seemed normal. She comes over, and this almost never happens. Actually, it never happens with Craigslist. Well, this girl comes over, and then she brings up money when she's at my place, which, again, not something we ever discussed. not something I say in my ad. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't pay for sex. Like, she's like, so I just came over here for free. I'm like, yeah, did you not read my ad? Like, this is a hookup. This is not like a, paying for sex type of thing. So she storms out of my apartment and we have like an angry text exchange back and forth where she's saying how she's going to tell the police I raped her if I don't give her money. And I'm like, dumbass, you just admitted it over text. Like if you were going to do that, don't say you're going to do it over text, because then I'm just going to show the cops this text. I'm like, you're so dumb. You're like the worst prostitute ever. And she starts like laughing. I'm like, you're literally like the worst, dumbest hooker I've ever met. And we start going back and forth. And I'm at this point, I'm delusional enough to think that I can game her over text and convince her to basically, bang for free. And so I was delusional enough, but I did not want to let her inside my apartment after she did made the false rape thing. So I was very weary of her being inside my place for some reason. So I thought it would be a good idea to meet her in public and kind of feel out the situation. So I go out, this is like 6 a.m. because I was staying up late, go out, and basically her crackhead boyfriend jumps out of the car and just like knocks me out. And he kicks me. At this point, I'm knocked out, but he kicks me when I'm down. So they charged him assault with a deadly weapon because the foot was a deadly weapon in that case. They caught both of them. The girl went to jail for 6 months. The guy went to jail for 4 years. They brought me into court to testify, but I didn't have to testify because they cut a plea deal right before I was supposed to testify.
So, whoa. So wait, where did you meet her at?
Craigslist. Oh, all right. Like right outside my apartment.
And he just walked out. And did you see him coming? Like, what was?
Yeah, but it all happened really fast. Like he jumped out of the car. He was like kind of hidden, and then he just jumped out.
He just jumped out, bam, and ran back.
Yeah, he just like sucker punched me basically.
Damn, dude. That is crazy.
Well, like, who got the last laugh? I got a black guy. He got 4 years in jail. Like, who got the worst end of that bargain? You know what I mean?
I don't know. That's debatable.
I'd rather take a black guy over 4 years in jail anytime, bro.
Just for a woman, right? That dude was such a fucking idiot. Just for a woman.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, like, who knows what story she told him when she got in the car? Like, she might have told him that I legitimately assaulted her. You know what I mean? So it's like maybe in his mind he was defending her honor. Like, who knows really what was going through her mind, what was going through his mind.
Wow, damn, bro. I got set up. I got robbed at gunpoint in Mexico because of a girl.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I got robbed at knife point in Colombia.
For what? What was the reason?
Just randomly, wrong place, wrong time.
Was it like in the safe area?
Yeah, it was Zona Rosa, which is considered the safe area. We were out late, like 3 a.m. These two dudes with a machete rolled up, and they're like, "Give us your money." Gave them the money. They were like, "Okay, no problem." They left. It was like $30. They didn't even ask for my cell phone.
Thank God. They didn't.
Dude, it was funny because after that, my buddy he was like, "Bro, I was this close to punching the guy in the face." I was like, "Dude, I would have fucking punched you in the face if you punched that guy in the face, because I'm not getting stabbed over $30 fucking dollars. I'm not even taking a 5% chance. Like, I'm not gonna lose my life over 30 fucking bucks. Like, no, thank you. Like, take my money. Like, I'll be the pussy in this situation. But I'm not gonna risk a fight with a dude who has a fucking machete. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Can you imagine the dudes who are robbing you? If he punches him and then you punch him, like, what the ¿Qué pasó aquí? Yo, that would have been.
I'd be like, here's the $30. Let's continue as usual.
Bro, it's very true, man. It's like when you're in that moment, you can't control it. And a machete too. I'd rather guns than machete. I'd rather die by a gun than a machete, to be honest with you. Like a machete is so much more threatening than anything else.
Yeah, dude. It was like real scary. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. It's so scary looking. I'm just glad that because like you have two kinds of robbers: the good robbers and the violent robbers.
Yeah.
The good robbers will let you go. The violent ones will fuck you up and then go.
Yeah. The sadistic ones, the ones who just want the money, and as long as you comply, they will leave you alone because they actually don't want violence. They don't want to hurt you. And the ones who are looking for a reason to hurt you. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
The sadistic ones. Dude, one time, the scariest thing I ever had happen, since we're on this topic, is I had one of my roommates pull a gun on me and hold it this close to my face. That was probably the scariest moment of my life. And I saw it in his eyes. He was willing to pull the trigger. He was some cracked out, crazy motherfucker. That's a whole story in of itself. But that was like the closest I've ever come to death. And that moment, like that
why
forever stuck.
Why did he do
Because
that?
in his cracked out state, he was under the impression I stole $200 from him, which I did not. But he was under the impression that I stole $200 from him, and he
And
was willing to kill me. He was willing to kill me over it, basically.
is the guy you're talking about the guy that walked by?
No. The guy who walked by is one of my good buddies. No, nowadays I'm way more careful about who I live with. I will never live with someone who I don't like know well again.
Was he
But
from
at the time,
Craigslist also?
what?
Was he from Craigslist also?
No, he was a friend of a friend actually, but I didn't know him. He was recommended to me by a mutual friend.
Bro, that's crazy. And did you beg or something? Like, what happened? Like, how did you?
Did I beg? No, it was weird because it was all autopilot because my conscious mind completely shut off. But I actually got really, really calm. I guess my survival instinct kicked in, and I was like, dude, you know what? You're 100% correct. Because at that point, I was arguing with him. I was like, dude, for the last fucking time, you retard, I did not steal your money. Because I was getting aggressive because he was like coming. I wasn't getting physically aggressive, but he had been annoying me about the $200 for days. I was like, dude, I can't. How many times do I have to tell you? I did not steal your fucking money. Right? That's like kind of was my attitude. And then when he pulled the gun on me, I was like, you know what, dude, you're right. Let me go get your money right now. So I just want to get out of there. I was like, you're right. I just basically placated him. I was like, you're right. I'm wrong. Let me just go get $200. Yeah, dude. I had two options at that point. One, call the police. He gets arrested. But then I have this guy hunting me for the rest of my life. Two, I just take a loss on $200 and bury this whole thing and move the fuck out of there ASAP, which is what I did. I picked option two. But I was debating calling the police, and it would have been very satisfying to see him go to jail. But then for the rest of my life, I have to worry about this crazy motherfucker hunting me down.
Yeah, but eventually, his actions will get to him because people never do things just once. That's not the first
Right.
time he put a gun on somebody. It wasn't the
No,
first.
definitely not. I mean, yeah, that guy's probably like dead right now. I have no idea. It's not like I've been in contact with him. You know what's funny? This guy, he works as a. Well, actually, I don't want to give away too many personal information. I don't want to like dox him, but actually, fuck him. Yeah, he works as a stand-up comedian. So like the irony is that he's a comedian, right? Like,
Well,
haha.
we know he's not successful.
Right? No, he's not. Not really.
Damn, bro. Not and what's funny when you say about having a gun to your head, people think you panic, but you don't. Like you, it's almost like you have no control, so you almost calm down in a weird way. You know, you feel very peace. From my experience, I felt peace because I had no control over it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like autopilot because it's like life or death.
Yeah, that's crazy. Did you have like panics or like any like weird dreams after that from it?
I was definitely like I wouldn't say I was like traumatized. I didn't have like PTSD or anything like that, but it would definitely like I was definitely like a little sketched out for a few days, but the timing was pretty good. I had a lot of friends, so I never slept over that place after that night. The timing was good because I was already moving out. I was going to Europe, so I slept at my friend's couch for a few nights, and then I went to Europe, and then in Europe I quickly forgot about it.
Wait, the friend that recommended you him? Did you tell
No,
him
no.
about it? Like you
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I mean, he
fuck.
was really apologetic. No, yeah, I did. I told him like literally the next day. He was like really apologetic. He was like, I can't believe it. I never knew that he would do something like that. I mean, he was genuine. I knew my friend had no idea.
Yeah. Things you never know people until
Yeah.
they snap, you know? That's why you should never trust anybody, Like, well, unless other than your parents and your siblings, outside of that, it's like people are just not truly 100% trustworthy, unfortunately. People are
Yeah,
just
but at some point you do have to trust people to some extent because otherwise you can never work with anyone.
and that's a problem. That's where you have a lot of the conflict. I don't know. It's a 50-50 thing. It's a risk. Trusting people is a risk, you
Yeah.
know. You
It's all
definitely
about like risk management and like not assuming too much risk and like keeping the risk within check.
damn, bro, that is crazy. That is insane. Now, let me ask you this: have you had? I imagine I know you've had relationships through pickup, right? But I
Yeah.
notice a lot of guys when they do pickup, one of the biggest sticking points is that once they have sex with a girl, the girl just leaves and never come back, right? You've had that experience, right? That was like one of the
Yeah.
first initial, because you can have sex with a girl, but that don't mean you're gonna see them again. For some reason, pickup has a lot of like ghosting when it comes to sex. It's like women ghost a lot.
Yeah.
What's your theory why that is, and how do you fix that from your
Yeah,
opinion?
there's different reasons why it happens. One of the reasons could be that the girl actually just wants a one night stand. Like that's what she wants. She doesn't want to There's chicks who want just a one night stand. One of them could be the girl secretly has a boyfriend or husband and she's just cheating on him and she wants to stick with her original partner. She was just wanted to have a quick experience. That's another reason. Another one is the girl thinks that you only wanted a one night stand, so she flakes on you preemptively to prevent you flaking. Now that one you can do something about. You can mitigate that by cuddling with the girl, by showing intent, by saying, "Hey, I had a lot of fun. I want to see you again." Doing stuff like that, you can mitigate the chance of her preemptively flaking. That's a big one. The girl sensing that you guys are looking for different things and that you guys are not compatible. The girl not enjoying the sex. Maybe you weren't as good in bed as you thought you were. So it could be any number of reasons. They can really run the gamut.
Yeah, a lot of guys have shitty dicks. Like they got no
Yeah.
game to their game.
Yeah.
Now, do you think your game is more important than how you laid the pipe, or is it like 50-50?
I think they're both important in terms of how important each one is. It just depends on the girl. Some girls are more emotionally driven. Some girls are more sexually driven, but they're both essential.
Now, let me ask you this: what do you think about this? All right. Usually, what I began doing was that after I have sex with a girl, I'll text them 2 weeks later, not a week. I'll wait a week. Like I'll wait like how can I say this? If I have sex with her on a Sunday, I'll text her next Sunday, right? To make her say, well, he's not texting me, blah, 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 what's going on, to get her ego involved, right? Because a lot of
Right.
women, from what they tell me, I could be wrong, but what they tell me is that when a guy doesn't message you after sex, they get offended. And something about being offended is that when you get offended, that also means that there when you don't offend anybody, you can't offend some people. The only way for you to offend somebody is if they have some emotional investment. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
what's your opinion on that? Do you think that's a good idea, or do you have like another method of doing it after sex?
Yeah, so you and I probably would agree to disagree on that one. I personally like to hit up the girl pretty fast, so I hit her up like within a few hours after sex because I want to show her that I had a good time and that I want to see her again. I don't want her to preemptively flake on me and write me
How
off.
how about like telling her in person? Like, wouldn't that do the same thing, or do you think they need to see the text?
I think there's value in the text because I think some girls will see it as incongruent if you're telling her in person that you want to see her again, but you're not texting her. So that she will think, oh, he was just saying that to tell me what I want to hear. So a lot of chicks will find that to be incongruent.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, because I used to think, you see, and this is why I like to bring this up because I want guys to experiment, right? And see what works best for them. Okay. Because the irony is that what worked best for me was texting them a few days later, right? Um, what I learned is that I like to put the initiative on their hand. Let me see what you think about this, right? Putting the initiative on their hands and say, text me when you get home. Why? Because usually when a girl likes you, the first thing they do is text you when they get home. Like,
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
yeah. Okay. Good. We agree on that. Yeah, because even when you don't like the bitch, they'll still text you when they get home when they like you. You know, it's always the
Yeah,
fat ones
no,
that text
I
you when
like
they get
that.
home. Like the fat ones always text you when they get home for some reason.
Yeah, I'm home now. The blowjob chick texts you, "I'm home now." Like
Oh my,
you
yeah,
were
she
home
still
when I
texts
when
me
I saw
today.
you.
She texted me today. She's like, hey, Mr. Ghost. I'm like, fuck, I'm scared of this girl, bro. Honestly, man.
She's like, "You want to bang my mom?"
Bro,
We're expanding the OnlyFans.
I wouldn't be surprised. Bro, she was just so.
Were they a Jewish family?
Yeah, they were Jews, and you know what's a crazy thing
So
is
funny.
that she changed. She
My
changed.
people have fallen.
She changes her name. She says, "This is Nancy now," and I'm like, what? Like Nancy is when she does her sex work. Like the name, she had like multiple personality and schizophrenia, bro. That was just crazy, bro. That was psycho bitches, man. Psycho bitches.
Dude, it's so crazy to me because like I'm half Jewish and I have family in Israel, which I try to visit from time to time. Like my grandma is like very Jewish, right? And like I'm just trying to like, there's no world, there's no scenario where my grandma would be either doing crack or sucking dick on OnlyFans. I'm just trying to like imagine like my people, like the Jews, like just falling so far from grace, like doing crack and sucking dick on OnlyFans. I'm not. It's more the crack. Like the OnlyFans, okay. Like you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm not gonna judge that, but like just I don't know, like being a crackhead and like your daughter's like I don't know. To me, like that whole scenario is like so like bizarre.
Bro, it was the most bizarre situation I've ever been, man. I'm not even kidding because I thought she was a nice person. When she told me to shut the fuck up, don't tell me to be quiet, I was that's how the vibe was set. like, like I was like, oh my God, you better leave now while you can, bro. Because that's the type of woman that will stab you, my dude. That like
Yeah.
it's like guys get so caught up with the pussy. My friends were like, I still would have done it. But I'm like, bro, man, it's like I fucking saw Tyrone leave the house after I got into it. Like, like I saw a black dude leave the house, bro. And it's not that is he's black, but the fact that she has to type to know what she did with him.
All right.
Yeah, bro, sloppy seconds, bro. Sloppy seconds. Now, I was
Probably
actually
sloppy fourth.
top
That you said you were the 10 p.m. So there's
10
probably a
p.m.
bunch of guys during the day.
10 p.m., bro. 10 p.m. And then she was
Yeah.
talking shit on him. She was like, that was bad dick. I'm like, bitch, you're
If you want to get in first with this chick, you got to get in there nice and early at 7 a.m.
she doesn't sleep. She doesn't sleep.
Get the freshest mouth.
No, Alex, she doesn't sleep. She hasn't slept in like 5 days, she told me. She doesn't sleep.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, crackheads don't go to sleep.
Yeah, she
Dude, I don't even know how crackheads do that, man, because I fucking love sleep. Like, I look forward to sleep. I have such, and for me, sleep is so like restful. To me, the idea of like skipping a night of sleep is like miserable. You know what I mean? But like crackheads, they just don't want to go to sleep. I guess they can't sleep.
I mean, sleep is the most anabolic thing that you could do. Sleep. Sleep grows muscles. Sleep heals your body. Sleep is the
Yeah.
most important thing before water. Before water and food, sleep is the most important thing. People just don't even think about that. You know, for
Yeah,
me,
for sure.
I get a minimum 8 hours of sleep. Minimum.
Yeah, me too. Minimum 8 hours. Yeah, I like to sleep 9 hours, 9 or 10.
No, dude, that's perfect. I mean, that means you're healthy mentally if you do that. 100%.
Yeah.
It'll help with rejection because your emotions are more regulated. You control your emotions more. You're more positive, more upbeat. It's so
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, 100%. I've noticed that when I don't sleep well, I'm more emotionally vulnerable.
yeah, it's crazy. And another thing, Alex, I was gonna ask you, right? What's because a lot of guys ask me because I wrote some questions down because some of the guys asked me because I told them I was gonna interview you. How do you get threesomes? What's your opinion on getting threesomes, foursomes, and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best way to go about it is to find a girl who's so you do it with a girl. So you find a girl who's like bisexual. So maybe you would sleep with a bunch of girls on Tinder, and then after sex, you'd be like, "Hey, are you bi, by the way?" And I'm sure a good amount of them would be like, "Yeah, I'm open to the idea." Some won't. Some be like, "No, I don't like girls." But some chicks will be like, "Yeah, I'm open to the idea." And then with those girls, you make like a joint Tinder profile, and then you work together as a team to find another girl. I actually have a video called "How to Have a Threesome" from Tinder, where I kind of like show you because I actually did it before, so I show like the whole process from start to finish. But yeah, that's kind of how I would approach it.
Okay, that's fair enough. And I think that's like the simple. That's you're talking about the easiest way to do it, because when it's the woman looking for it, it'll happen a lot quicker. You know.
Yeah.
To add to what you said, what I began doing, I put myself as a female on Bumble because that means I'm able to message them first. You know, and also and they get psyched out. They're like, "How the fuck are you able to message me?" I don't know. Bumble was experimenting, and when I message them
Oh,
first,
that's interesting. Okay. Okay. I
yeah,
see what you're saying.
putting yourself as a female because not a lot of women message you because they forget to message their matches when it expires.
Right.
When you become a female, you initiate the contact, right?
Yeah, and Bumble can't be like you're not actually a female because that's such a hot button
I
issue.
identify as a female. What the fuck are you
Yeah.
talking about? So it's like beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah, the last thing Bumble wants to do is potentially take down an account of someone who identifies as a female.
That's
And then they're impeding on trans rights.
yeah, and if that happens, we gotta hit up Vice and create an article because that's
Right.
wrong. That's homophobic, xenophobic, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but and you will also get all of the women who are bi because obviously they matched you. They clearly saw a dude and they're looking for women, so they matched with you. So it's kind of like that's one of the ways. Now, do you think some countries are more easier to get those like to get threesomes and foursomes compared to like America, or do you think it's more
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I definitely. Well, again, I think it goes back to the sexual arbitrage. So I think that as a result of that, it's easier. I don't know if it's like more socially accepted in maybe more like the Scandinavian countries. like Sweden or something like that, it might be more socially accepted. But I think it's fairly socially accepted in America. It's not like threesomes here are really frowned upon, not in cities like Miami or LA or New York. So I think it has to do more with like perceived value.
Wait, you
And
saying
like
Sweden?
again, going back to the example, like Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't have any problem finding threesomes.
Of course not. He even says, "Why do we have a job? Like, why do you have a job? It's so easy to get women."
Right.
Yeah, but did you say that Sweden is not socially acceptable to do that there?
No, I'm saying I think like Sweden, Scandinavian countries, it might be more socially accepted. So those might be places where it would be like more socially accepted in the US. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's like Latin America, it's more socially accepted. It's just that you get like the sexual market value boost in Latin America because of the sexual arbitrage.
I don't know. I think also it's because they're more submissive. They play more of the feminine role a lot more in South America. So they'll comply. Like honestly, I never had as many three. Well, the thing is that we don't know whether or not it's the fact that it's more acceptable or whether or not it's like you said, sexual arbitrage. How do you say that again?
Sexual arbitrage?
Sexual arbitrage. Right. It's
Yeah.
like I don't know which one it is. Um, Okay, I asked all the questions that I have in mind. I mean, is there anything else that you think guys should know about game or relationships in general that you think it's like that you think that once they know this, the floodgates will hypothetically open up?
Oh man, I wish that was the case because then it'd be really easy for me to, to teach people. If I wish there was some magical piece of content or magical line. It's not. A lot of it is just focusing on the fundamentals, like with online game, again, working on getting really solid photos, mastering the fundamentals of text game, being able to juggle a bunch of leads, running dates efficiently. So a lot of it is just like mastering the fundamentals. I think guys have a tendency to try to look for like fancy solutions and kind of skip the fundamentals. Like they say with bodybuilding, most of your results are going to come from like, squat, bench, like the fundamentals, right? Like you see this in the gym. You see guys who are skinny doing all these weird isolation exercises when in reality they should be focusing on the fundamentals. So I think it's like the same thing with game, to be honest.
Okay, I see what you mean. All right. So if you were a 15-year-old dude, that's what you would tell your 15-year-old self, correct?
Yeah, and the big thing I would tell myself is don't give a shit what other people think of you. Like, be okay with failing and people and failing, and that would be very liberating. Once you stop caring what other people think, everything becomes just a lot more liberating in life,
Yeah,
so as to speak.
100%. It's because we're all gonna die, and it's kind of like when you think back at some dude in the 1920s who didn't want to do something because he didn't want to be judged. When we look at it from that perspective, we realize he has nothing to fear because you're all going to die eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah, So, all right, buddy, man, it was really fun. I really some of your stories are.
yeah, man. We went on some interesting tangents, so good. I enjoyed this podcast.
Yeah, it was very interesting. Now tell us about the products you have because I think you have a few products. Do you offer coaching? Any individual
Yeah,
blueprint?
so I have actually only one product. It's called the Online Dating Blueprint. You can find that at playingfire.com. Basically teaches every possible little thing you need to know about online dating and just dating and much more. Like we have a lot of bonus chapters. Like we had a fashion consultant, for example, write a chapter on fashion. We had a professional trainer write a chapter on, gym. So we did, really went above and beyond with the bonuses. It also includes 1 month of free access to my mastermind group where you get like hands-on help from me and other coaches. So that's one. That's one of the things we have. But also just check out our YouTube channel, Playing with Fire Dating. We have a lot of free content on there, a lot of good stuff. We'll just provide lots of value without asking for much in exchange. So yeah, check that out as well.
Do you ever think about coming out with new courses or something like that?
Not really. I'm in the process of updating my course right now, which exists people who already have access are just going to get access to the updated course. But no, I don't think I am going to because I feel like one course is all I need, and I'm just going to keep like adding to this course, and maybe I'll keep adding bonus chapters like I've been doing. But I don't think I'm going to release a bunch of courses.
Wow, that's good. Me, I want to earn money, so I'll make more courses. Okay. This guy's an
Yeah,
honest coach. Okay, people.
yeah. I like to be pretty straightforward.
So it's kind of like I like to be straightforward. I'm like, look, guys, I want to make money. I'm
Yeah,
making
yeah.
this course. I'm not gonna oversell you, but I'm making this course, so I'll help a brother out.
Right.
But I always say that it's like RSD. RSD always comes up with a course. Every fucking year, there's like 10 more courses.
Yeah,
Right?
every 3 months.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, it's like with Julian. It's like Julian, his first course was it. Like that could have been it, you know. But his
Yeah.
other courses were still good. But it's like, and it was like a different style, and I get it. But it's kind of like you're not doing a favor to your fans because it's better for them to have a few choices because then they'll do it. But when they have so many choices, they don't really implement the program 100% because then they'll go to your other program without fully implementing the last one.
Yeah, like how many like courses do you need to teach the same thing? Like I just don't understand why you need 20 courses to teach cold approach. Like it's one, two, maybe three, but like 20 courses to teach one thing, like come on, like yeah.
It's for the money,
Yeah, I'm not
bro.
really big. Yeah, no, I get that. I'm not a fan of their business model. I'd rather make less money and like not sell my soul than make more money and sell my soul, basically.
No, it's telling your soul is not as bad as it looks, Alex. Like me, for example, like
Yeah, well, I'll sell my soul a little bit. Like I'll do some things like that. I'll like what I hate doing is when I start my videos now, I start off, hey guys, do me a favor, smash the like one, hit subscribe. Like I hate like asking for people to subscribe, but like I'll fucking do it because it
it
works
helps.
and it gets more views.
Yeah.
Or I'll do like clickbaity titles a little bit because it gets views, or clickbaity thumbnails. But yeah, like there's a line that I draw in the sand.
Yeah, 100%. This is YouTuber who begs. I'm like, dude, stop fucking begging. You look ridiculous. It's like such a turnoff needing this.
Yeah. No, I hate when people do like the the super chat thing is like it's like the biggest pet peeve when people are like give me money like for me to answer your question you have to give me money in the super chat. Like get the fuck out of here with this. Like the super chat is like the biggest nonsense I've ever seen.
It's all about money, bro. I mean, unfortunately, I do it sometimes. I'm toxic, you know, but I'm the devil, you know, Alex. Okay.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all motivated by different things. Like for me, money has always been a minor motivation, but I've been more motivated actually by status and attention. So I've always been because I'm an only child, so I've always been an attention seeker like all my life growing up, and I think I haven't really outgrown that to a full extent. So for me, I'm motivated by attention more than I am motivated by money, which is good and bad in a way.
well, at the end of the day, you know yourself, and knowing yourself is the only thing in life that is an end to a means. You know what I'm saying? It's the only
Right.
thing in life that if you know yourself, you won. Like you
Right.
won. You know what I'm saying? All right, bro. Do you do coaching? Oh, you have a mastermind group, right? That's like
Yeah, we have the mastermind group. I occasionally do one-on-one coaching when I'm in the mood. Actually, if you guys want one-on-one coaching, now is probably a good time because I'm all fucked up with my neck and I can't go to the gym for a week. So I got like a week of time to kill where I'm mainly just going to be doing coaching and content because I can't work out, can't really like fuck properly. So I got a week of recovery. So yeah, hit me hit me up now, I guess, if you want coaching. That's not
and
even like a sales pitch. That's
how do
just
they
like a
message
fact.
you?
I'm wearing like a fucking neck patch and shit, so you can kind of see I'm not bullshitting.
Damn, bro. Well, I hope you feel better. Yeah, I really do.
No,
How do
thank you. I
they
appreciate it.
how do they get in contact with you?
Just check out. You can email me playing with fire dating. Was it playing with fire channel at gmail.com. Just go on the YouTube. That's probably the best way. Or go on the forums.playingfire.com. Our website playingfire.com. So we have a bunch of ways you can find us and reach us.
Okay, word up, word up. All right, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed his content. If you guys ever want to learn about online dating, I personally would recommend you guys check out his Instagram DMing videos because I kind of do it myself. If you're lazy and you have a pretty good Instagram and you have a good following, watch it. It's actually I recommend it. Follow his script. And watch his Tinder videos. They're also really good. And yeah, man, I really got. Let me know if you guys want me to interview somebody else. And I'll see you guys later. Say goodbye, Alex.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on, man. Later, guys.